Hi guys, I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. For those of you who are returning back to my channel, then welcome back and thank you so much for being here. And if you are new here, hi, my name is Katie. I post new videos here on my channel every week, and I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button down below to become a part of our little corner of the internet. So I'm trying to keep myself a little more chill, a little more calm, a little more sinister, dare I say, because today we are doing the villains tag. And if you know anything about me, if you have been here for a while, you know that I love the villains. They are my absolute favorite part of Disney. You know, I love everything about Disney, don't get me wrong. Most everything about Disney, but the villains are my favorite. So I was very excited when my wonderful, wonderful friends Taryn and Rowan tagged me for this. They did this over on Rowan's channel, I believe. They did it together. So I will link to that video down below. I will link to both of their channels down below. In the small chance that you are not subscribed to either of them, you definitely should. And I can't remember the name of the person who originated this tag, but I will leave her channel down below as well, because villains lovers gotta support villains lovers. So that being said, let's just get into the questions for this tag. So the first question is, who is your favorite villain and why? So again, if you have been around my channel for long enough, you probably know the answer to this question. My favorite villain is Scar. I just love him, and it's so funny because I really just kind of realized recently that he was my favorite, not only villain, but really my favorite Disney character in general. I love, like, just first off, just the animation on him is really lovely, but I think that he is so sinister, but with a light side to him. Like, he's fun, which a lot of villains are, which is nice, but he definitely has, you know, there's a side of him you're not messing with. And I like that he's very much that villain that doesn't ever really get his hands dirty. Like, he's the brains behind the operation and has the hyenas doing all of his dirty work for him. So the second question is a villain you would love to get in trouble with, and I had to go with Hades. Hades, like, is definitely one of my top favorite villains. I have liked him since I first saw that movie when it came out. I have continued to like him. I think he is so much fun. I mean, yes, his temper can change so fast, but I just enjoy him as a character, and I enjoy his personality a lot. So I think that we would have a ton of fun getting into trouble together. We could, like, just wrangle all sorts of mythical creatures to do all sorts of fun things. Like, it'd be a good time. Question number 3 is a villain's bad side you wouldn't want to get on. Definitely, I feel like everyone has said this so far. Of all of the people that I've seen do this tag, everyone is saying Maleficent, and I am on board with that. Maleficent is a powerful, powerful human. She is very powerful, very scary. I think that she is probably one of the legit scariest villains out there. I think that Maleficent is just, like, very scary. And the fact that she did all of this because she didn't get invited to this party, like, that's like one of these, like, bottom of the barrel list offenses that you can do to someone. I mean, would it piss me off if all of my friends were at a party and I didn't get invited? Sure. But would I do what she did? Probably not. I mean, granted, I'm also not a powerful sorceress. There's that. But if I was, I still probably wouldn't do what she did. I would probably just, like, infest somebody's house with insects or something. I think that that would be a sufficient punishment for not inviting me to a party. Next question is your favorite villain quote. So I need to get the exact words, and it's not even a quote, I guess, per se. It kind of is, but it's lyrics to a song. So hold on one second. Okay, so this is from the reprise of Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. and it's right after LeFou and Gaston are having like their whispering conversation back and forth. And, you know, they say, no, I get it, let's go. And so Gaston says, or they both say no on plots like Gaston. Gaston says takes cheap shots like Gaston. And then LeFou says plans to persecute harmless crackpots like Gaston. So I just love that. I think that that is hilarious, and I didn't catch on to that until I was older, and I was like, wow, at least they're very self-aware that they're doing something very wrong just so that Gaston can try to marry Belle. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. But so funny. That whole song is really quite enjoyable. I like it. Our favorite villain song is Be Prepared. I think there have been so many people that have said Be Prepared, which makes me so happy because it's my boy. But it is, again, cinematically, the animation is just really beautiful. Like the whole scene of the entire song, really, just, you know, starting out just with Scar, and then with Shenzi, Bonzi, and Ed, and then all of the rest of the hyenas coming into the fold. Like, it's just very epic and very stunning visually, really. And the song is just so good and so simple, and not, you know, he just kind of talks his way through it, and it's not like super crazy forceful. He's just very calm about most of what he's doing. He does start to get angry when the hyenas are like, oh yeah, cool, we won't have anyone to lead us, that's fine. And then he starts to be like, no, I am leading you. So I think that just, you know, an all-around standpoint, both the visual and the vocal of this entire song is just so good. Most relatable villain is question number 6. So I don't know, I kind of went off the official villains list, I think, at this, with some of these people, because I don't know that this is technically a villain. I think it is, but I feel like in Moana there are a lot of villains that they say are villains. Like, they say that Tamatoa is a villain, and I don't really think that Tamatoa is a villain. I love Tamatoa, but I don't know that he's a villain per se. So I went with Taka, who is the, I guess, angry version of Te-Fiti, and I 100% can understand why. Like, they stole her heart. You know, Maui stole her heart, stole this thing that she has been guarding with her life, with her being. And, you know, Te-Fiti is obviously very generous and very, you know, keeps everything healthy and keeps everything green, and just like the most majestic and graceful, I guess, demigod that you can think of. And that gets taken from her. I don't blame her for being angry. I don't blame her for falling apart. I don't blame her for, you know, one person, granted he was trying to appease a lot of people, but one person's selfish act ended up damaging all of these islands and people's well-being. So I get it. I get where she is coming from. So I'm going with Taka. That's my answer for most relatable, because I think I'd be kind of pissed too. Okay, so the next is number 7, most overrated villain. I'm going with Cruella de Vil. So I know that she is pretty iconic. I know that Disney tends to put her on a lot of the same merchandise as Ursula, Maleficent, and the Evil Queen. Kate and I had this conversation in a video that we did over on her channel, that it's just like, I mean, Cruella is iconic in her own right, you know. I think just visually she's very unique. They definitely made a lot of great animation choices with her that made her very interesting. But as a villain, I'm like, all you're doing is trying to take some puppies. Like, I mean, sure, that's bad and despicable. But, you know, there's definitely some people out there that are doing pretty bad things too. I mean, honestly. So, I don't think that she is that great. And I know that people love her, and that's fantastic. But yeah, I'm just not a fan of her as a villain. I will be honest in saying that it's been a long, long time since I've seen 101 Dalmatians, but yeah, I'm just not, I don't think that she deserves to be as well represented as she is. I think there are some other villains that are far more deserving than she is. So then let's talk about that. Number 8, most underrated villains. So I went with 2. One is not on the official Disney villains list. I looked in several places. He's not even listed anywhere at all as a Disney villain. I'm pretty sure that he is. He's in a movie. He's in a Disney movie, and he is a villain. But I'm going to start with the first one, and that is Prince John from Robin Hood. I love Prince John, and I think that he is such a fantastic villain. You know, obviously everyone knows the story of Robin Hood and everything, but they made him so interesting and just such a memorable character. But I don't feel like I ever really see a lot of people talking about him in terms of great villains, and I don't think that he's very well represented. Although I will say, I think within the past month, I've seen 2 pieces of merchandise that he has been on, which is very, very exciting. But another villain that I really enjoy, even though he's kind of a bumbling idiot, but I enjoy him regardless, and that's the bowler hat guy from Meet the Robinsons, which I have actually watched a lot lately. It's on Netflix, and it's been on Freeform this weekend, actually. And I just really like him a lot. I think that he's definitely controlled more by his bowler hat, who it has a name, Denise, I think. But I just think that he is such a fun villain. He's a fun one. And, I just think that Meet the Robinsons as a whole is very underrated. I think that it's a really fun movie. But yeah, I don't ever really hear anyone talking about the bowler hat guy. Ever. So, I'm talking about him. Underrated villain. For sure. Okay, so question number 9 is favorite villain seen in a movie. Okay, so I have 2. Again, sorry, I have a hard time choosing. So the first one I love is the transformation scene in Snow White when the evil queen is transforming into the old hag. It is honestly kind of terrifying. It's very dark and very intense, and I love it so much. The second one that I have probably will come as no surprise, and it is the stampede scene in The Lion King. We were just watching The Lion King a little bit the other day, and I forgot how beautiful that scene is and how well everything holds up as far as like the computer animation does. In some of the earlier movies, it doesn't really hold up, and it looks very drastically different from the hand-drawn animation, but in this one I think it works really well. But it's just so, it's gotten to that iconic point, everyone remembers, at least like my generation, everyone remembers growing up seeing Mufasa die. And I just think that at the heart of that scene is just the pure evil of Scar, really just not caring about the fact that he is killing his brother, and he wants to kill his nephew that is so tiny. And it's just, again, animation is beautiful. It's just very, it's honestly, it's scary, you feel the adrenaline rush through it. And so yeah, I just think that it's beautifully done. And appropriately scary. Number 10, I half-assed. Sorry, I'm terrible with a certain aspect of this. So, if you could choose any movie to watch from that villain's perspective, which movie would you choose and what would it be called? I'm terrible at coming up with titles of anything, so I just bypassed that. But I would love to see a movie from Assistant Mayor Bellwether's perspective of just how, you know, I think that she probably would it would shift the perspective and how you perceive her, I'm sure. Just seeing how she grew up and what she's kind of had to overcome to get to where she is now, and what really ended up like breaking her back and making her want to be who she became. So I think that would be very interesting, and she is already a very interesting character anyway. So I think that would be a lot of fun just going back into that world. So our next question is our favorite villain merchandise, and this was so easy for me. I got this in one of the Disney Treasures boxes back when it was a subscription service that they actually mailed to you on a bi-monthly basis. And I just love this pop so much, and it is the Maleficent Dragon Pop. I think it is perfect. Oh my gosh, I love her. I love her, I love her, I love her. Honestly, I think that when I got this pop was really the catalyst for me really liking Maleficent as much as I do now. And she's just, can you see her? She's just beautiful and appropriately big. And just like, I love that she's simple, but I love like her coloring and everything. She just looks so evil. Number 12 is, who is your least favorite villain? And my least favorite villain was, he's a great villain, but he's creepy. And that is Claude Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. He is straight up evil. He is the embodiment of just using his power for bad, because he's just not a good person. And just the way that he treats Quasimodo, the way that he goes after Esmeralda, and just, you know, his lust-driven character is just despicable and just very off-putting. And I think that he's like I said, a great villain, but he's not one of those villains where I can find a redeeming quality to him that makes me like, oh yeah, you know, I kind of have a soft spot for him. Like, no, he's just evil with a capital E. And then the last question is your favorite villain sidekick, and I adore Pain and Panic so much. I love the banter between the two of them. I love their relationship with Hades. I think that they are so much fun. But there are so many great ones. I really love Iago too, and like I feel bad because Jafar is one of my favorite villains also, and I didn't represent him too well in this tag, but I do really love Jafar. And Iago, like I said, is an awesome sidekick too, but I have to go with Pain and Panic. They're just the best. Alright guys, so that is everything for my villains tag. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you want to answer those questions down below, please do in the comments. I've been seeing so many people doing this tag, so I'm not sure who has already done it and who hasn't. So if you are interested in doing this tag, then please do. I would love to see it, and let me know if you do this tag, because the more the merrier. Let's get that villain's love out into the world. And yeah, definitely at a minimum, even if you don't go through and do this whole tag in the comments, I would love to know who your favorite Disney villain is and why. So at least tell me that much if you don't want to answer all 13 questions. So that is everything that I have for you guys for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know that you would love to see more villains content on my channel, because I would love to provide more villains content on my channel. I just don't know what to do. So if there's any villains things that you would like to see here, let me know. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love to have you as a part of our little family here. That is everything, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!